Hey everybody, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I've got a little bit of a mailbag and a little bit about Micro Center and fries, and actually some direct tools too. So let's get started. This is the only really traditional mailbag item, and this came in from AliExpress, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And this is an adapter. We've got micro USB to USB, I guess that's type A. And yeah, actually, if you remember my fail bag video, I think it was like number 7, you'll know why I bought this. Let me go grab something. So for the most part, these Raspberry Pi Zeros aren't worth buying on places like Amazon and stuff, because you can get full-size ones cheaper. But at Micro Center, you can get the Zeros for $5, the Zero W with Wi-Fi for $10, and the Zero WH or whatever it is with the headers pre-soldered for $15. Now, I feel like the $15 is a bit much. But the reason why I got this is because these things have these micro USB connectors on them, and what I found are that the micro USB accessories in general are junkier, the little hubs and stuff like that that come with that. So what I liked is the idea of being able to convert these into regular USB ports so that I can attach, which obviously one of these is power, but I want to be able to attach normal size USB accessories to this instead of micro USB accessories. And the problem was I had bought an adapter before that didn't fit right next to the power. So I'm going to leave this out because we have another reason to look at the Raspberry Pi Zero. But yeah, I think these were super cheap. Maybe I'll put it up on the screen, but they're yeah, little cool connectors. All right, so the next thing we've got, let me see here. Let's do Micro Center. So ignore the price because I got it on sale, but this is a Gigabyte B450M motherboard that I got for my wife. We're not gonna spend a lot of time looking at it, but you know, it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't live anywhere near a Micro Center, but I do go anytime I get the opportunity, and they just have some fantastic deals. If you look at Build a PC sales on Reddit or something like that, you'll see that all the best deals wind up at Micro Center. And so I got my wife this socket AM4 motherboard with 4 RAM slots and a couple of PCI 16s. PCI, that's a 1X slot, and M.2 slot. Right here it can be a couple different size M.2 slots, but she was rocking an AMD A8, and then she's been using a laptop, but she's a lot neater than I am, and so she didn't like the wires that were all over her desk, and we just decided that we were going to build her a desktop PC again, and so that we can keep the PC tucked under the desk and the wires minimized, and just allow her to have as much space on the desk as possible. In fact, her monitors hang down from the top so that they're not even touching the desk. And so yeah, so this is a basic, nothing fancy but AM4 motherboard, and that goes with, let's see what we got here. That goes with this, which is 16 gigs of Crucial memory, 3200 DDR4 in 2x8 configuration, and I spent just over $60 on this. This wasn't particularly any cheaper than Amazon, but I was there, so I got it. And the piece de resistance is the Ryzen 5 3600. And this is an interesting deal. So this was around $150, I think maybe $159. But back in the day, I guess when the last generation was out, my 2700X, which is an 8-core 16-thread processor, I think 105 watt TDP. Basically, that was $329, and this is $159, so we're exactly half. And this is 6 cores, 12 threads. The other one is 8 cores, 16 threads. But on most single core performance, this thing will slightly beat my 2700X. And even on most multi-core performance, it will beat my 2700X. So I mean, it's amazing that just in one generation we were able to outpace, which was pretty much the top end processor in the 2000 series, with a mid-range processor in the 3000 series. So I was debating if I was going to upgrade my own computer or let it go. But if I upgrade mine, and I'm not sure I will, I would wait for the 4000 series in mine. But to be honest, I'm not doing as much YouTube as I had been doing. My business has been just booming, and so I've been real slow to be able to upload videos and stuff. So maybe I'll go with the 4000 series just to, you know, to be able to process videos a little bit faster. But for coding, it doesn't really seem to matter. So I did want to take a look at one thing. This comes with the traditional Wraithspire, but mine came with a Wraithspire Prism that I've never used before. So I thought maybe we could take a look at those, see if there's any reason to put my cooler on her chip. So this is the box to my 2700X compared to her 3600. This cooler has basically only been out of the box so I can get to the chip. So I've never plugged it in or done anything with it, but my gosh, that thing is ginormous. Let's see what this is. No, it's just a box. All right, so we've got this here. Holy cow. So I put one of those Evo 212 coolers on mine, which is just a gigantic 120 millimeter cooler, but this is an 80 millimeter cooler. And yeah, I've got fan headers on it. I don't want to mess up the thermal paste. But let's compare that to what comes with the 3600. Let me know if you guys want us to do a build video. I was thinking about just letting my wife build this computer. She's never actually built one straight through before, so I thought that'd be kind of hot. So yeah, this is significantly smaller. Wow. Yeah, so there's I mean, this thing basically has no copper, and it actually has a different mounting bracket, so I'll have to look at that. Yeah, this looks like it'll take either one. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta decide. The her computer is actually rack mount, so it's a little debatable if this is gonna fit in the 4U. I think it will. I think it'll fit in the 4U rack. So she's never gonna see it, so I don't know that the colored fan makes much of a difference. I don't know. What do you think? Should I go with the Spire Prism or the traditional Spire cooler? Let me know in the comments. So just to round this out, she already had a good SSD, and she had her case and keyboard, mouse, and all that kind of stuff. But this build comes out under $300 for the three of this. This with tax and everything. So that is a pretty amazing thing to be able to get a computer with this much processing power for under $300. So we definitely live in good times. And thanks to AMD. I should say I am an AMD, longtime AMD stockholder. So I'm not telling you to buy anything. I'm not suggesting anything. But yeah, I personally love AMD, and I invest in AMD, have been for a long time. So yeah, just had to disclose that. So the reason why I kept this Pi out here is that I got this for $3 or $3.99 at Micro Center, and I know I could have 3D printed one, but I don't love the way 3D printing turns out a lot. So I got this. Is it two of them? I guess it's a couple different tops. This is the official Raspberry Pi Zero case, which runs about 12 bucks on Amazon for $3 at Micro Center. Oh wow, I think it's got some other stuff in there. Let's take a look. So it's got little feet. It's got a header pin opening. Has this round opening, which I'm guessing is for a button or something like that, and then also has this connector here, which I would guess would be for a, oh, I bet that's a camera. So yeah, so camera, is that? Yeah, I guess that's the camera connector. I wasn't sure if that was the screen connector, but yeah, this one just says camera, so I'm guessing that's just a shorter connector if you want to put a camera through here. But let's pull it apart. So get this out. And this out, put this in here. These things are pretty slick. Yeah, that lines up fairly nicely. Push that down a little bit. There we go. And then we're gonna go with let's go with the clean look. Yeah, that's nice. It's really nice. Accessible on the bottom if you want to get to the headers from the bottom. Clean look at the top. Got your no SD card access. It's an interesting. Oh, is this it? Look at this. Yeah, I thought maybe that was an SD card reader. Yeah, I don't really get the sense of why they wouldn't cut out for the SD card slot. But, I mean, $3, not going to complain about. It's a nice looking case. And, yeah, there we go. Raspberry Pi official Pi Zero case. So, rounding out the items from Micro Center, these two I bought just for the fun of it. They're not particularly cheap, not particularly good deals, but I have a couple of extra spaces on the front of my computer, and you know, back in the 90s I would have filled them, and so I just decided I was going to buy a couple different things. This was about $12, and this is a little cheesy. I'm not even sure it's going to go on my real computer, but this is a little cheesy drawer, little tray that comes out. I thought it'd be kind of an interesting place to keep some micro SD cards and thumb drives and stuff like that. It looks like it could be a finger. No, it's actually not too bad of a fingerprint magnet. So very cheesy. I don't know 100% sure that I'm going to use it, but it's in there. So this was like a little $12 thing. Could have gotten it cheaper on AliExpress, but you know, sometimes with stuff like this, like I'm pretty cheap. You guys have probably figured that out, but I like stuff like this because it reminds me of the trip I drove up there with my friend Colby. He has a YouTube channel I'll link to, but he was getting some 3D printing stuff, and so, you know, it's good to have little things like this to remind you of stuff like that. And so this is a front drive bay thingy, the second one, and this is a USB 3 with all the various SD and compact flash cards, eSATA, a couple of USB 3.0 ports, a USB-C port. This I definitely want to use because I always have that weird USB adapter sticking out the front for my micro SD card slot. So yeah, so I'm glad to be able to have it and just put it straight in the front. It looks a little neater. So regardless of whether the drawer goes in, this is going in my main computer. On the back you've got your SATA port, your USB 3 header, and a it looks like a standard USB header. Yeah, the USB. Oh, they might have duped me. Let's take a look at this for a second. So, USB 3 hub with card reader, USB 3.0 all over the place, but let's look at this. See, I was just going about my business. For one thing, do you guys know what I'm freaking out about? Do you know what I'm freaking out about? Ah, dang it. They got me. Look at this. 6 slots USB 2.0 card reader. Can you see that? 6 slots USB 2.0 card reader. I did not read the fine print. So the reason why I noticed that, and I'll open this up, is, see here. So, you know, this is a USB 3 little dongle thing, and I pretty much assumed that that was for, you know, these USB 3 ports up front, and this would be for the SATA, which would work for the eSATA. But then I saw this old school traditional USB 1, USB 2, and this card reader up here is USB 2.0, and I am not happy about that. So what's most likely going to happen, I'm really bummed. I should have read the fine print, but what's going to happen is I'm going to use this for like transferring to the 3D printer and stuff, and then if I need to do like massive you know, 8 gigabyte writes and stuff like that, then I'll just use the USB 3 ports on the front. But still a little bummer. Convenience, because most of the little USB readers aren't supporting compact flash anymore, which I do come across compact flash every once in a while. So it's good to have these formats. I'm not complaining about it, but you know, I do wish that this was USB 3 at the top. And this is from Fry's Electronics, and man, I'll tell you one thing. Back in the day, Fry's was an amazing, amazing computer store, and I guess some of them still are amazing. But this was a giant one just outside of Atlanta, and it was 75% empty. And they're not going out of business or anything like that. They just don't have any merchandise, and they don't have any motherboards, they don't have any processors, they don't have anything. But one of the things we did find, Colby bought me this. It is a USB, not USB. It is and you'll know why I'm talking about USB in a second. But it is a light curing glue. Now, what cracked me up about this is that they show you that in 3 seconds you can repair your iPhone cable that was cut in half, and you can put a wing back on an airplane and stuff like that. So we're going to put those claims to the test, how well this glue works. And so we'll see. Can I cut my iPhone cable in half and reattach it? We'll find out. On to the tools. So we have these two right here, which the prices are wrong. I got these really cheap. These are rigid, and you guys know that I use a lot of Ryobi stuff. A lot of my corded stuff is rigid, but my cordless stuff is mostly Ryobi. And the deal with these two things is that this Job Max system works across rigid and Ryobi. And it's basically, by default, I don't have the tool with me, but by default, it's one of these tools, one of these vibrating multi-tools here. And both the rigid and the Ryobi one, this head comes off and it can go in 4 different directions, and you can attach different things to it. So the common ones that people have are a right angle drill and one that basically does, let me grab this, basically does this roto-zippy type thing where you can cut drywall and junk like that. I don't need either of those two tools because I have this in cordless and corded, and I have the right angle drill already in cordless. But I do want to be part of the system, and these things are pretty legit. So this is the right angle impact, and it is a heavy tool. Like, it is a beefy, it is a beefy chunk of metal. And so what I like about this, so you got your normal 1/4 inch collet there, and this can be mounted in any direction. So every once in a while you need to drive something in a really tight location, and I like the idea of being able to have this beefy impact, especially because I already have a drill. So if I need to drive screws at an angle and stuff like that, I think this is pretty cool. This one I bought on a whim because it was cheap, normally 60 bucks, and I paid less than 20 for it. This is a nibbler, and so I don't have a way to test this right here. I'll do that in a future video, but yeah, we'll figure out what that's about. So we've got this little teeny tiny metal nibbler here, similar to the one that I've shown you on the channel before, but I like that it can be mounted in different directions and stuff like that. So these were cheap, and they were the two tools that I always wanted to have in this system, so I grabbed them while they were cheap. And last but not least, my kind of splurge of the trip, this was about 50 bucks, and not necessarily something I needed, but this is the Ryobi heat gun. And one of the things I have an issue with in my office is that there isn't actually that much power running to my office. And so I don't run big compressors over here. I don't run a lot of stuff like that. From here, I tap that into my house, which is about 50, 75 feet away. And so my solder station works fine, but whenever I fire up the heat gun, the lights in the room flicker. And I was like, I've got a bunch of computer stuff. I don't really want to do that. So I've wanted one of these things since I saw it come out. And so I picked it up, and this was kind of my, it was half off. So, I mean, that's good. Man, that thing is glued down tight. Let's try this out. I don't think I've ever seen a Ryobi tool glued that much. So this is, let's see, there should be some accessories in here. Here we go. This is the Ryobi heat gun. And I kind of have an idea about this. So, it's got the little lanyard attachment should you want your heat gun attached to you. Now, I know this thing kills batteries extremely quickly. Like, I think a 4 amp hour battery runs something like 20 minutes, it may say on there. but it gets 875 degrees, and it really doesn't matter to me how long it runs because I use a heat gun. You know, if I'm going to be stripping paint or something like that, I'm going to use a plugged-in one. But for some heat shrink, this thing just needs to be on for a couple of seconds. And so, take a look at this. Now, I actually have an idea with this that I can do. I'm not sure that I should do, but let me try one more thing. So if I grab my soldering supplies box, I kind of noticed something, that there's these other tips for my other solder station. They don't fit. I was sort of wondering, I'll bet I could make them fit, but I don't know it'd be a good idea to do that. I don't know that that's a good idea, but you can. So, you know, I mean, they wouldn't give it to you if you couldn't do it. So let's take this for a second. And I've got stuff all over my desk. Okay, let's grab a battery. So it does have the safety here. Ooh, does it have a light? Oh, it's got a light down here. All right, let's give it a shot. This is the worst 2X stuff I have. So for those of you who don't know, the heat shrink comes in basically the amount that it shrinks, and so a 2X will get half the size of what it was to begin with. Let's see here. I know that's gonna be hot, but yeah, I mean it's okay. It doesn't feel like it's putting out an insane amount of heat. Yeah, I mean, it does the job, like for what I need it to do. Like it does the job. Probably not the best tool ever, but for 50 bucks, like, you know, again, that's expensive compared to buying like a Wagner one from Home Depot, but cheaper than running more power out to my shop for the moment. So yeah, so that is my haul. We've got Ryobi, we've got Rigid, we've got AMD, we've got all kinds of random stuff, and so yeah, leave any comments you have down below, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.